Welcome to another GoldenDudez end of the year video. My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
I'm Pat.
I'm Matt.
I'm Travis.
And this time, instead of talking about our favorite games of 2020, which I'm not going to lie, some of us cheated, Nick, we're going to be talking of just as a wrap-up video of 2020. Like we did this in the years past, where one of the times you're talking about like our game of the year, our game of the years. This time it's going to be more looking back at 2020 as a whole, talking about what games got popular, like Animal Crossing, and just giving our overall impressions. And I guess as more of a broad question, just to open up the conversation. As a year, do you think this was a solid year for games or not? Like, do you think, because before we're going to go into, like, because we are going to be talking about the new console releases, do you think this was a fitting end to the PS4 and Xbox One's life cycle, or do you think it was a good springboard on into the next?
Unfortunately, I think it was a
solid year. I think it was
a great year to show how much those consoles floundered.
Damn.
Good for scalpers, though.
I truly believe that this year we have just re-released the PS4 and the Xbox One, so really they really haven't ended. Just like how 2020 probably will not end. When it hits December 31st at midnight, it's gonna continue counting, and it's gonna change to December 32nd.
Pat, what platform do you play on? PC? What about PC2? When's PC2 coming out?
If PC's so good, why isn't there a PC2?
No, but for real though, what else do you guys think? Like, do you guys think it was a fitting farewell? Because like the last games that really came out is like Cyberpunk was supposed to be one of them going into the next gen, but like Ghost of Tsushima and like
Last of Us Part 2, all that jazz.
Like Last of Us Part 2. What do you think about those as kind of like the PS4 swan songs?
I mean, like,
I think it was fitting, very fitting.
Yeah, like, I feel like PS4 had a good like
Xbox. No, sorry, Xbox. Xbox didn't do
is just
shit.
kind of like, okay, it's time to die, and we don't really have anything to really put on the new one, but
they have Game Pass. They have Xbox Game Pass though.
Okay, but like Halo Infinite didn't come out, right? That got postponed.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was supposed to be the big release game, and
never happened.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
Xbox is doing what Nintendo has done for a while now, which is it's living in the past. Like it's like, okay,
Yep.
You know what? We've released some amazing games on 360 and the original. Let's just make a console that and I kind of actually like what Pat said. I kind of agree with like what farewell. The like Xbox Series X and PS5 are basically just the PS4 and Xbox One X, just better. Like every game that's come out for them is also out on the original consoles. Like I feel genuinely bad for the people that got suckered into spending more money on the PS5 and Xbox Series X, because it's the same thing. It'll just load a little faster. So like there's really no farewell. Like up until like March or April of next year, every game coming out is coming out on all four consoles, or like last gen and this gen. So it's like it wasn't even like a farewell. It's like, Ghost of Tsushima, like, you can still play on PS5. And like Miles Morales, you can play on a PS4. So it's like, what changed?
What changed? Yeah.
So I was gonna say,
but the
like,
4K, the 4K though, you can see their pixels better.
I mean, technically,
Pro of either of them, they're 4K as well.
Yeah, PS4 Pro does have 4K as well. I was going to add on to that, Mike. One of the issues is just like, I feel like we're not going to get, or at least what they're trying to sell as a true next gen experience doesn't really work if you can still play it on the previous gen. So that kind of, I feel like it's going to be very hit or miss once you get to the games like Halo Infinite, like maybe Cyberpunk will follow along the lines. I don't think Cyberpunk is going to be one of the games that we can classify there. But once you get the true, what you call next-gen games, maybe Horizon Forbidden West might be that. To really see if that upgrade is really, if people would feel it would be genuinely worth it. Because you could definitely see there was like a graphical improvement from like the PlayStation 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Didn't really seem like there was much there. It seems like a lot of their resources went into loading times, which I am wanting to ask about, like loading times. I know Mike will have more to say about that because you have a Series X. But it seems like besides that, I'm not sure what else. I mean, I know the PS5 controller has like haptic feedback when it comes back to the triggers or whatnot, and I've heard stories about like with Astro's Playroom, when you're playing for it, like one of the things, like you have a crane game where you haven't one of like the trigger buttons picks up like an orb, and you have to like press down, and you can feel the resistance trying to crush whatever it is to get whatever the trophy or whatnot in the Astro's Playroom. So it's a cool tech demo on what the controller can do, but I am skeptical to see what that true next-gen experience is, because right now I don't see how it'll feel like a really big upgrade, I guess.
Yeah,
what would justify the purchase of like a $500 box?
No, yeah, let alone a $1,500 box right now. Yeah, it's,
Mike got an Xbox
no
for free. You want to talk about that, Mike?
Shout out Taco Bell.
Hell yeah,
please.
dude.
Thank you for Taco Bell for
cheesy
sponsoring.
gordita crunch, baby.
It's funny because like I was looking on like online trying to get the PS5, and I was like, whatever. And then like I went to Taco Bell and I got a drink, and it said, oh, look at, you can win an Xbox. And so I didn't win it that time, but like the next time I went with a couple friends, and I said like, hey, can I have your cups? And they're like, that's weird, but okay. And one of their cups won it, but it's okay because they don't play Xbox like I do. So I did tell them. I didn't like steal it and say.
How do you play with your Xbox, Mike? You wanted to go into that?
Hey, I have a proposition here for Taco Bell really quick. Either you give me a PS5 or an Xbox for free, or you give me back my Cool Ranch Doritos tacos, and I will shill for you forever. You don't even have to pay me. I don't even need it. Like I don't need a sponsorship. I just need you to do one of those two things, and I will shill for you forever.
Damn, dude. I know. I'm down, dude. I'll sponsor Taco Bell now. It's all good. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool
Going to go back
system.
to the question about load times, though?
Yeah. No, it's
just trying to keep us on topic.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, it's a really cool game system. Like, and the upgrades in gameplay and like loading times. I mean, it's significantly noticeable. I just for fun, I re-downloaded Final Fantasy 15 because that game had the most nightmare loading screen of any game I've ever played on Xbox One and PS4. Like, it was just brutal. It took like a minute to load into the game. And on Xbox Series X, it literally took like maybe 10 seconds. It's so much faster, yeah. Like, I'll be playing like the new Valhalla game because I originally bought Valhalla on Xbox One before the series got here. And the load times were forever. So, like, to the point where I used to put my controller down and play Mario Maker on my Switch while I was waiting for it to load.
Oh my god!
Like, that's how long it would take. And like, I had to break the habit when I got the Series X because like the load times were like 7 seconds or less.
Did you have to repurchase it?
No. And okay, so I will say, as much shit as Microsoft gets because they have no first-person games and their exclusives are ass. Like, they are, well, I guess PlayStation does it too. But like, they're really, really good about like getting your money's worth in that, like, no. So any game I bought on my Xbox One or any game I've ever bought from Xbox ever is on this console. So like, my Xbox Series X already has like 500 games on it, you know?
What about the disc, physical disc?
It plays every physical disc except for a few. So any game that has ever been released on an Xbox console, for the most part, can be played on a Series X, which is
even
Xbox
Xbox 360, even 360,
even 360, even the original Xbox.
Wow.
What? Yeah.
Okay.
That might get me to get one.
What about PS5 though? What about PS5?
PS5, you'll have like 98% of the games backwards compatible with PS4. There's a couple of very weird oddities, but it's almost fully backwards compatible, but it's not technically fully backwards compatible.
Yeah, and any generation before that is a no-go.
Yeah. There was actually a time, though, that just as a little fun story for you guys, where there was a patent that was that Sony was trying to push through, and I'm not sure if it ever like went fully through the process, but it would be that that they were looking at having the PS5 that could play every single previous generation of games, so from the PS1 all the way to the PS4. But yeah, I don't think that would ever be possible.
No, I will say,
be
like,
cool, though.
Yeah, I honestly think the only reason Sony is like has always been higher is because of the exclusive games they have. Because like, I'll be honest, I've been a Sony person for the past 3 years, and as soon as I get my PS5, I'm going to be a Sony person again, I'm sure. But like, my gaming experience has always been better on a Microsoft console. Like, really? And not even just the online gameplay. Like, I just feel like it's smoother, and with Game Pass now too. Like, not to be like a Game Pass sucker, but like the fact that I pay like $10 a month and I have access to literally every game I want to play, and it's like really good games. Like Sony
Pretty good deal.
Sony feels a lot less consumer friendly than Microsoft does, which sounds weird.
I would agree with that.
But like Sony, I feel like cheats me at any time they get the opportunity to. But they have Persona, so it's cool, I guess.
Waiting for Persona 6?
Right. So Microsoft, Microsoft would be better if it had better exclusives. But yeah, like Travis said, like Halo's the only good exclusive it has, and Halo hasn't really been all that great the past couple times. So, you know, it's just
Halo 4 killed everything.
Yeah, it's basically just like a PC console that's not as good as a PC. And it's getting closer. Honestly, like the Series X runs games almost as well as a PC does. So we're getting better. But it's still not a PC, and it still can't do mods. So it's like it's trying to achieve something it's never going to achieve. So gaming performance and the experience, I think, is better on a Microsoft console. But PlayStation, it has more exclusives. And it has haptic feedback.
Yeah, it has haptic feedback for the controller, man. That's where they put all their fancy technology. I was going to say I'm very curious to see how soon it's going to those consoles, the PS5 and Xbox Series X, will be outdated. Because there are going to be some computer parts that are going to be on the market soon that will outdate them, but I'm just wondering when that'll happen. I'm sure it won't happen for, I don't know. I don't know about the life cycle of certain parts or whatnot. I might have to ask my friend Adam because he knows way more about that than I do.
You're asking you're asking when those consoles are going to be outdated?
Well, I know they're already technically outdated,
yeah, I was gonna
but
say,
I mean,
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, compared to PC, those things are not there yet.
I mean, yes, but I'm saying that like they're trying to bridge the gap. I'll at least say they're putting it. I'll give them an A for effort. How about that?
I was disappointed in this year regarding the lack of expansion of VR. I thought this year they were going to expand more with VR, and the technology was like pretty cool. Like when they first introduced it a couple of years ago too. I was just disappointed they couldn't really expand on trying to get it going. I think they had a couple of good, solid releases, that sound like they would be pretty good, like the new Star Wars game where you play in an actual fighter cockpit. That seems pretty cool. But by EA, out of all the game production companies, EA had a decent idea. But it still didn't. But like all EA ideas, it also failed miserably. But it was a good concept. Don't get me wrong, but unfortunately,
I agree with you, Matt. No, the thing with VR does kind of interest me a little bit. I think right now it's in the tough position. One of the reasons why consoles are definitely more attractive than I would say a PC is the entry price is way shorter. I mean, now you're getting to the point where it's $500 to start, but compared to over $1,000 for a PC, if you want the budget option, consoles just make more financial sense. And VR doesn't really help that case because VR, if you want to start getting into that, it costs a lot of money to do so.
Unfortunately.
So I think that's one of the tough things too, where I think if VR wants to especially make its way more into the mainstream, because I would argue it kind of isn't right now, one of the things it's really got to focus on is price. Because, I would say one of the things is price, especially if you want to get some of the people who are buying consoles. Two, I still think you just need the compelling games. I sound like a broken record when I say this, but the only VR game that I really cared enough to really play, or at least want to play, is Beat Saber. And that's really the only one. Unless there's big game developers that are going out of their way to make really awesome VR experiences, I don't know how else VR is going to really push its way through to get to where they are with all of the big name games that would be talked about, like the Cyberpunks, like the Ghost of Tsushimas and whatnot.
Okay, so but there's a problem that VR has because it already did the first thing you said, which is the price thing.
It did?
In that Oculus Go is a standalone VR system. So it's still $300, but you don't need a PC, you don't need any console, you just need the headset. So it's it's $300, which is a lot of money, but you don't need anything else with it. So that's not totally helping the price thing, but it's nice as it's just like buying a console,
So it is hang on. So it is a budget thing then, because the last time I saw a price for an Oculus, I saw it as $750. So
oh god, then you're
that might be
outdated.
Tier. But that's probably
like a high tier one, probably. This is Oculus Go, right? This is Oculus Go. Yeah, that's $300.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, so the price thing, yes. But what were the other ones?
And the problem with the game thing is, and I hear a lot of people say this, and it's like, the problem, though, people want fully fleshed out stories. That doesn't work well in VR. I can sit here and play Valhalla for like 5 straight hours, and that already is not very healthy. But like having the VR headset and immersing in a world for 5-6 hours, that's horrible for that. Like the eye strain, the headaches, the dizziness. Like VR is not meant to be something that you get. Like it's good to be immersed, but it can't be like you can't be doing Assassin's Creed and Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy type games in VR, because like you'll go insane. Like I watched this video of this guy that did it.
You get seized.
Yeah. Like a guy did a 24-hour VR challenge and he like literally almost died. It's so VR to me, the games that are being made for it are perfect for VR. I think the problem is there is that disconnect that like people want VR to be fully immersed. Like I want to be in Skyrim, and we already saw how that turned out. That did not work out well at all.
Yeah, it almost made Travis throw up.
But even if it did, like it was a good experience. Like it's still not like a healthy. And I hate being the party pooper that like brings health into game conversations, but like it's just like to me that's not a good idea. I feel like VR, the games they're making are good for VR, but people don't want that, and so I feel like VR's in a weird spot on like, well, we're not, and they're not even really capable of making a good like RPG VR style. So like VR is like hit a wall, because like Matt said, like the Star Wars games that have come out are like Beat Saber's awesome, but Beat Saber's awesome because it's not a full-fledged story, you know, like Beat Saber,
it's a rhythm game.
Yeah, you can like play it for like 20 minutes and be satisfied. So like those are the games that like VR is for. But people want it to be more, and as of yet, I don't think we're ready for it to be more. Like I get dizzy playing, any game where I walk around for more than 20 minutes. So even if they made like a good RPG on it, head-wise, I would not be able to handle it. So
plus space too, they have to incorporate it. People actually like. They don't want people to be like destroying their rooms, destroying their TVs.
They already are, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen the people who have already broken TVs because they tripped forward when they had the VR set and they just headbutted their TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. My best experiences with VR, I told you a lot. Like you're talking about it, I think. Oh, in that like realism podcast we did the other day, was the canoeing one where I was in the Arctic kayaking, and the Until Dawn Rush of Blood, the horror one we did, where you're in the roller coaster, because they're quick and they're fun and like they immediately immerse you. And to me, that's what VR should be. And they've accomplished that, but they just hit a wall on how to expand with the technology where it's at. And I feel like that's where it's kind of hit a rut. And people want it to be so much more. And it's like it's not growing at the speed people want it to grow at. And then people gave up on it, and then the sales went down, and then like developers quit on it. And that's the story of VR every time VR happens. So it's tough. It's tough for them. I would not want to develop a VR game. It seems hard.
Yeah. No, it does seem hard. I mean, like, I'll be honest, I wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah. I could get started on a racing game today, especially one that'd be like Diddy Kong Racing, but starting for VR, no idea. Would have no idea where to start.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will be moving topics now. One of the next things I do want to talk about, and this is mainly just because that I'm not sure if they will just be fads of 2020 or if they will continue going, but I do want to touch base on Fall Guys and Among Us, because those are a couple of games that we ended up streaming and playing for our channel overall. And the reason I want to talk about them is because I think these are two games. I mean, one of them came out in 2020. One of them came out Among Us came out way long ago. It just had a recent surge in popularity. And the reason I want to talk about them is because these are games that really weren't meant to be popular. And just to kind of do a mini section on this, I kind of want to pick your guys' brains. What are your guys' thoughts on why do you think games like Fall Guys and Among Us, especially during quarantine, became so popular? Because I have my own theories, but I want to hear what you guys think.
I think, genuinely, it's another... Well, okay, first of all, Bean People, because obviously the art style are similar and therefore perfect. I think the best thing is because they're such... they're games that you play with friends most of the time. And I think those really thrived in 2020, obviously, because we were all kind of lacking social interaction for some reason.
Deadly virus out there.
I definitely feel like that's why they were so
successful and
popular.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've played Fall Guys with my girlfriend and like Among Us with you guys and all sorts of like every single friend group I have that plays video games, and even some that don't, wanted to play Among Us. Like, I think it's just a really good like social game to play with friends and stuff like that, which is why I think it really thrived this year.
Oh, another.
So what else do you guys think? I'll keep my theory till the end.
Yeah, so I think Fall Guys, like what he was saying, it's just a easy way to get online and actually interact with some of your friends. But I think the simplicity of it almost brought back like a nostalgic effect, because I didn't have to learn any crazy complex things. It's literally, you can jump and you can dive and you can grab things. Go out, try to win, and like, I did win. It's not that hard to actually...
Yeah, the obstacles aren't bad. It's the people you're competing with that are making it a little challenging.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not it's not like Fortnite where some 9-year-old can absolutely just blast me because he gets to play 16 hours a day.
Exactly.
Shouldn't you be in school, kid?
Hey, I am in school.
This is my life. This is my school. This is my learning. It's going to give me my e-scholarship. My esports scholarship.
So, like, even though, like, as a kid, I never really, had anything with that art style or anything, but it was just the simplicity of it. I still felt like a child again playing. And
Agreed.
Like, I haven't played Fall Guys in a while, but I also really haven't been playing much other than Diablo lately.
All right.
But yeah, I think it was the simplicity and social aspect.
Yeah. Well,
do you guys have any other theories before I bring in mine?
Well, I was gonna say too. Like, I think. Well, I mean, Fall Guys is kind of dying right now. I haven't heard anyone talk about Fall Guys.
Yeah, Fall Guys is kind of.
Actually, no. Travis was just talking about that too. Yes, I would say it's more on the decline. But if you look at the numbers, especially people watching it on Twitch, and especially for like the Twitch Rivals tournaments that they have, Fall Guys is still going strong. It is still a #1 game on Twitch.
That's what I mean. I think like the tournaments are hanging it up, but like as far as like individual people, like I haven't heard. Like I used to have so many friends that were like just obsessed with Fall Guys. And like none of them talk about it at all anymore. But like Among Us, I think Among Us has more of a lasting impact. I feel like.
Agreed.
Because of the problem with Fall Guys to me is that it's so luck based, which I think was the original charm. Is that with skill you can definitely win more, but there's also a lot of luck that goes into it until you reach that skill level. And like the randomness and stuff makes it appealing, but I think that wears off after a while. Whereas Among Us isn't luck based to me. It takes a lot of things going right for you, certainly, but Among Us is a little more like you have a lot more control of what's going on. And it just the idea of Among Us is cool. Fall Guys, I feel like, is original to a certain extent, but like the idea of like a battle royale with a bunch of people trying to win is so overplayed. But Among Us's idea is really original. So like Fall Guys is just a fad in my opinion, but Among Us is not really a fad. Like it's actually kind of its own unique thing. So Among Us has more lasting power, whereas Fall Guys, I think, will inevitably fall to the wayside. But Among Us, I don't think will. I think Among Us is going to be around for a while.
I think another thing that's going for Among Us too is the fact that like those kinds of games, those kind of like detective games and like people trying to fake their way out, there's a ton of different kinds of games. Like me, Travis, and Matt and Jake, when we were all like visiting, Travis would play like a board game called Secret Hitler, where it was a very similar vein in that. Mafia and Werewolf are both very similar games in that vein. So those kinds of games have always been around, and they've always been very popular games to play, especially when you have a group of people. One thing that I was going to... Oh, sorry.
I was just going to comment on that real quick. That's true, but like I think what's made Among Us work is like all the examples you gave are not video games, right? And the only video game like that was TTT, which is really hard to play unless you like really know how to work a PC. So it's
that's what I was going to bring up next.
Salem.
I've never played that. Do we have to add that to our list?
Possibly.
That's awesome.
I have it because Eric told me to get it while we were in school together.
Ooh.
So that was the point that I was going to bring up. I agree with what Travis, Pat, and Michael already said about how it's a social thing, about how I would say Fall Guys is more of a fad and whatnot, and how it's like a simple game to play. The last thing that I do want to bring about, and we kind of touched on it before, is and I think the main thing that is keeping them going is the accessibility.
It's free.
Where one of the reasons why these games have been so popular, and I think one of the reasons
economically
it's exploded
feasible.
in popularity,
it's economically feasible for both of them, and also Fallout doesn't have that bullshit battle pass shit that a lot of like battle royale games have.
That's not what I was talking. Never mind. The reason I was saying accessibility is so important for these games was because like they pulled in people who were not traditional game players that would be playing these games, and that's one of the biggest things, because Fall Guys I think has like 3 controls. You move, you jump, you dive. I guess you can also grab, but that's about it. Among Us 2, these tasks are not ever difficult to do. Besides Simon Says, I don't think I ever had to explain to my friends what one of the tasks was. You immediately look at it and you know what you're doing.
The telescope too.
So
telescope too.
Yeah, the telescope too. Yeah, but pretty much all these tasks that you're doing in Among Us, the games that you're playing in Fall Guys, they're very intuitive, they're very accessible, and you don't need to have like a gaming background to have. And so add that in with the pandemic that was around, it just makes sense. It made sense for all these games to explode in popularity.
It was just widely available too.
You need. What did you say?
It's more widely available too because Among Us was available on the App Store and also the Play Store.
Well, yeah, cross-platform does help, but
it
yeah.
But
I do think that the accessibility was one of the big reasons why those games in particular, because
you also mentioned
Travis, Pat, and Mike. No, sorry, not Mike. I think Travis, Matt, and Pat have all played like Warzone or whatnot. That game has to have a tutorial for you to figure out what the heck's going on. You never need that for Fall Guys. You never need that for Among Us because you kind of just get it as you play. So that's one of the things that I think was really cool about these games. And I'm happy that they got as popular as they did. I had a lot of fun with Fall Guys. I would have platinumed it if they didn't have that bullshit 5 wins in a row achievement, but whatever.
Yeah. Get good, Nick. Get good.
Get good, Matt. I'm sorry. How many crowns do you have? Exactly.
I never said the trophy was bullshit. All I said was just get good, and then you'll get it.
I wish it was that simple. I really do wish it was that simple.
Anyway,
but yeah, no, those are a couple influential games.
But I do feel like out of both of those, though, I do feel like Among Us will outlast Fall Guys.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Well, yes, and I will say, and I hate saying this so much, but Matt had a good point.
iPhones, because people who usually don't game, they had access to Among Us because it was literally free. So if you were just like curious, like, hey man, we're playing Among Us. It's a free game. You can just download it. There's literally there's no money attached. Like I gotta spend money now on bullshit. But it's like, wow, this is decent. This is fun. I get to talk to my friends and fuck them over and accuse them for being an imposter, even though I just want to fuck them over and kick them out.
Yeah, it did the incredibly smart thing of like bridging the gap between mobile gaming and like not console but like PC gaming, which was incredibly smart of them. Because mobile gaming is like it's disgusting in some ways, but it's really, really massive for a market. Yeah. And so combining that with PC gamers, like those are two of like the most like hugest markets in gaming, and they like push them together. Like that's undefeatable at that point. And then they can cross play with each other.
Hate mobile gamers.
Yeah, and now they're together, united as one. Like that's powerful. So yeah,
I do think what's kind of tough about it though is I've heard from friends who have played on the mobile version too. They definitely converted as fast as they could to the PC version. One of the nice things is that you don't need the best PC to play it for Steam. But I will say that like there is a definite easier way to play, and it is on the PC. It is true.
Oh yeah, it is easier,
the mobile and PC juggernaut being added together is fantastic, but it's tough because they are two very, very different crowds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they did a good job of combining the crowds and making it insanely popular. Like you have celebrities just randomly want to play Among Us. I mean, there are also some who do play Fall Guys. I mean, like what was that? AOC had that fundraising event on Twitch, and then she got like 200,000 just from like streaming for like a couple hours with like random people.
Yeah, she kept like a viewership of average, I think like 350,000.
Yeah, she made a shit ton of money in like a short amount of time, and she wasn't even like a big gamer. It just showed you like that like you don't have to be like a big gamer to like stream on Twitch too, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's also a congresswoman, so that kind of helps, but.
Yeah, her fame kind of helps her out a little bit there too, Matt.
Yeah.
If she didn't have a following before, I'm pretty sure a person like that just can't go on Twitch and immediately have over 100,000 viewers. Otherwise, she'd just be breaking Twitch at that point.
Anyways, yeah.
All right, so that's talking about some influential games, and now looking forward to the future. At the time of recording this, I mean, I know not the best idea to date the video. It's sometime obviously in December, but for the future, like from today onwards, and then going into like early 2021. Just to pick your guys' brains a little bit, what do you have as like potential wishes for like the next year and whatnot?
Cyberpunk.
For possible games. Yeah.
Finally.
Besides Cyberpunk, because that one I think is obvious.
I have 2 games that are on the Switch, hopefully.
Ooh.
Okay.
The second whatchamacallit game, Zelda Breath of the Wild game. Because even though I never really got into the first one, I have high hopes that the things that I didn't like about the first one will not be in the second one. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure they're going to take out weapon durability.
Huh?
I'm fairly confident they're going to take out weapon durability. I think that's... I actually don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's not even necessarily that they broke. It's just like I would sometimes go through 2 different weapons in a fight, and that just pissed me off.
Yeah, they should make them a little more durable is the thing.
Yeah. If they're gonna
So
have
keep the weapon durability, but just
have
increase
them
it.
last a little longer, and like have a way for me to reforge them. Because if I find one I like, I don't want to go and visit an area just to farm them. I
Yeah.
want to just go back to home base, mine something, and anyway.
Can I guess your other game, Travis?
Huh? And my
Can I
other
guess
game,
your other game?
Metroid Prime 4.
I wanted to guess it.
Because what the F? I haven't even heard any information about this game at all, and that's what scares me.
Travis, again, you saw the logo. You're good for a couple years.
Yeah, but then they're like, oh, we almost finished the game, but it was crap, so we're going to redevelop it. I'm like, okay, at least we're going to get a good game. And then, like, absolutely nothing after that.
I have an anticipated release.
I've been blue-balled for so long. I can't. I need it. I need information. I don't even care if the game comes out next year. I need to know where it's at in development.
Just any update.
Any
You're not even hoping for the
that's
game. You
more
just want an
than just a
update at this
logo.
point. That's kind of funny. All right, who else wants to give some of their wishes for the future?
I have an exciting game that I'm looking forward to.
Which is?
It's another Far Cry. It's the number 6 Far Cry. And I'm hoping, because this is interesting, because Far Cry, well, they had like a story that was kind of coming together, and then it just took an apocalyptic turn, and now they went back into present day, it looks like. Or not present day, but like a little bit backward, a couple years before present day, I'm assuming. But like, it seems that they picked an amazing bad guy. The bad guy is the guy who plays Gus in Breaking Bad. I don't know if you guys know. He runs Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yep.
Yeah.
My brothers? Or the brothers?
The Chicken Brothers, yeah. The Brothers and Chickens. Anyways, it just looks interesting because I guess you kind of play as his kid, and then I guess his kid sees like what he sees, and I guess he maybe has a change of heart after an event, and he wants to probably overthrow his dad. So it's kind of interesting because before, the Far Cries were usually like some random bad guy that had no really connection to the good guy. But now this one will have some sort of familial role where, let's see how a family treats each other. It'll be interesting, and I'm hoping the combat. They haven't really shown much about the combat or how it will be like taking over like bases, or if there's any new vehicles, any new weapons. But I'm assuming the weapons will probably be like traditional, like present day weapons. Won't be like anything like crazy like the new like futuristic apocalyptic Far Cry. Or like where you have these random animals with like horns sticking out of their asses and shit. And I'm not sure like what they're gonna do about that. Maybe they'll incorporate like regular animals where you just skin them like the other like original Far Cry. But we'll see. Or maybe you don't even have to do that. You just upgrade your shit like by buying stuff. Hopefully they don't incorporate loot boxes, which I don't think Ubisoft will do that. But you never know. But yeah, that's one of the games I'm really excited for.
Yeah, I really like Far Cry, and I will say like the main numbered series games are usually really good about like not doing like super crazy things. Like Far Cry is kind of cool in that like when they have a crazy idea like for giants with horns coming out of their asses, like you said, they save that for like New Dawn and Blood Dragon, you know. But like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is always like modern day, modern weapons, like modern settings. Like Primal was another odd one, but they called it Primal. So if it's a numbered one, odds are it's going to be pretty normal gameplay-wise, which is good. Yeah, I am interested in the family thing because, like you said, before it was always a random person or like a military veteran.
Or
it'll
dictator.
be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be interesting seeing like this kind of dynamic.
Yeah. So we'll see. They haven't really shown much, so it's kind of hard to speculate. But hopefully they have some gameplay coming out. I don't know if they're gonna do any like of those like releases, like at what are those like where they show games and stuff. It's probably online, probably virtual, like last year.
Yeah. I'll talk about 2 games that I want to see come out, especially because I don't think anyone is gonna mention these 2 that are scheduled for next year. And that's the sequel to God of War. I think that is super awesome and exciting to look forward to.
It is rumored in development by a couple people, at least people who are rumoring it at Sony.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
well, it's been rumored that Metroid Prime 4 has been in development. So
well, Travis, there's a difference between Nintendo. There's a difference between Metroid and this. Metroid might never come out. This game should come out.
I know.
Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. No. So yeah, I'm really excited for that one, just because like the last one they put out was so awesome, and like kind of the mix of like Norse mythology in there was really, really cool. Getting to visit like Niflheim and all these different areas. Like it was really well made. And I can't wait to see like the new direction they take it. And they're talking about having Boy as like maybe like the star of the game potentially. And so like they're doing a lot of like interesting stuff with it, which I'm excited to see. And then the other one that I don't think anyone is going to mention is Resident Evil 8. I'm really pumped to see like the direction they go with that. I've heard so many like different things about what the game will potentially be like. The setting, and so far from what I've seen from it, like I thought it was going to be a lot more similar to what 7 is, but like it seems like they're kind of already going in a different direction with it, which is kind of interesting. But it also feels like Resident Evil is doing kind of what Ubisoft always does, which is like they like part of the time they're taking like their some games and like sticking with the theme, and then like with their other games they're doing something totally different. Like the remakes they're doing are all very similar, but like Resident Evil 8 is like nothing like the games they've been designing. It's like
you're talking like Resident Evil 2 and 3, right?
Right, like the remakes they made. Like they're both you know, like over the camera type games, or you know, even the first person ones are very similar. But like this Village game takes place like in a snowy region, like in this desolate village. It's like a medieval looking castle with these weird people, and it's so different from what I'm used to seeing in Resident Evil. It almost looks more like Haunted than it does Ghosts. And I think it has to do with the new strain of the virus that was in 7. But it's just like it's odd, and I'm really curious how it's going to tie in with like the other games in it. So it looks fun. It looks terrifying and disastrous. But it doesn't look like Resident Evil so much. So I'm really curious. Like it's so off the wall, the characters in it and the way they look. Like the lady with that big ass hat and the thing that looks like a giant werewolf. It's a lot of strange stuff going on with Resident Evil 8. Not the direction I expected. So I'm excited to see more about it. I'm sure it'll be good. They've been doing a lot better with the franchise lately. So I'm going to stay optimistic. They crawled past 6, so I'm happy with where they are now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you said that you liked the 2 and 3 remakes or whatnot, so that's good. I'm happy for you, Mike, especially because I'm hoping Fire Emblem makes a 180, but I don't really have faith in that, but whatever. I'm going to quickly mention 3 games then.
Damn.
One of them is really short, sweet, to the point. Deltarune, the future chapters, so like, not the future chapters is one of it, but like Deltarune's Chapter 2, Chapter 3. I know Toby Fox is working on them, and I saw some updates about it. I would love to get more from that because I was just crying listening to Deltarune music before we started recording. Completely normal things. The other one, which is already a bigger release that I'm sure we're gonna be talking about at some point in the future is Horizon Forbidden West. As I told Matt a couple times before when we were like playing Rocket League, that's pretty much going to be the game that will push me to be getting the PS5, if anything, because as of right now, there really isn't a game that's incentivizing me to get pushed to that next-gen console. And the last one that I am super psyched for is Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. So I've been a huge Ys fanboy ever since I played Ys 8 for the Switch. I still think it is one of the best games I've played, especially on the Switch. I would say it's definitely in my top 10 for sure. I, from there, played Memories of Celceta for the PS4. I thought that game was really solid, and I'm really liking what I've been seeing with Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, and that is planned to come out early in February of 2021. So, again, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to play the Ys series, and this one, they're kind of going for a weird, like, edgy vibe. Like Adol Kristen is turned into, like, a little bit kind of like a goth dude, you know? It's kind of interesting where, like, he's kind of got to join, like, the undead or something. I don't know. I'm kind of about it just because it's a Ys game. They have pretty damn awesome music. Kind of feels like... kind of brings me back to my, like, angsty teen days, you know, when I was at, like, the Vans Warped Tour and whatnot. It kind of has some good, like, shredding on, like, the guitar, you know? But either way, Ys games, very solid games. I'm really looking forward to Ys 9 when it comes out. And that one hopefully will not be delayed anymore because there's rumors it's going to get localized before, actually around spring of 2021, and it looks like it is. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they're going to stick to the February date.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have one really quick, very, very quick. It's the Hogwarts Legends, the Harry Potter game.
That did look interesting.
I'm actually genuinely interested in that, and I don't really care for single-player games much. But I am actually very excited. I'm a very big Harry Potter fan, and from what I've seen so far, I feel like I would have a lot of fun with that.
Cool. It did look pretty interesting when I saw it. Matt, do you have any games that you're hyped for next year, or are we going to be wrapping it up?
I mentioned mine.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. All right. So, is there any other topics that we want to touch on looking back at 2020?
Yes.
So, I know how much you love Animal Crossing. As it's approaching, it's like in March.
1 year, yeah, 1 year anniversary.
How do you think they're going to be handling? Like, do you think they'll try and mimic the different events that they've had, or do you see it changing much?
With Animal Crossing,
its second year cycle to keep it more fresh.
I feel like there'll be a new update. You know, with spring coming again. I'm sure they will bring back the Easter egg event, but
yeah,
but this time
the
maybe
most fun event ever.
all right. Besides the egg customization you can do and the egg costumes and all that, egg rooms and all, I feel like maybe they can incorporate like in the eggs, if you find like a special egg, it could like hatch and then it could be one of your villagers.
That actually would be awesome. I would totally hunt for these damn eggs if it meant that I can hatch a
but here's the thing, like
villager.
But like you said, it would be like a 1 in like 100 egg chance though to find like your villager, and then you can raise this villager as your own.
So it's randomness.
It's still random, but there's a reward. Versus this is like you said, meticulous like hunting for eggs so you could craft that fucking balloon. Or craft that wallpaper. No, this is like, I might find my villager that I want. Or you could just find some villager that's like, wow, that's ugly. Ew.
You see, immediately I thought Matt was going to say that you could, like, raise, like, a pet chicken or something like that, but the fact that it's a villager, too, just confuses me.
I mean, it could be a chicken. There are chickens who are villagers.
You know, I was just curious if you thought that, like, they would try and mimic
and I'm hoping, I'm praying that they improve the multiplayer right now. Like, there's gotta be an easier way than just the dodo code. But
you're giving Nintendo credit for online? That's a stretch.
I'm just being hopeful. One can only be hopeful, right?
That is true.
I just want to go into my airport, see the stock market of all of my friends that I have, and what their turnips are, so I know who I want to visit.
That's a good idea. It's a good idea. All right, then I believe that is it from all of us. So, hope you guys enjoyed our looking back at the year of 2020. If there's any big events that we missed, there's a comment section. Let us know about it. and maybe we can discuss it when we talk about the future of 2021, which is going to be our January 1st upload. Probably not, but you never know. Hopefully you guys have a lovely day, and stay golden.
Yeah, bye, everyone.
Bye.